Hi, I'm Leroy Burgess, and it's good to see everybody. We are about to begin an incredible journey. Myself, Louie Vega, Patrick Adams, doing a revisit to my song, Barely Breaking Even. Barely Breaking Even is the brainchild of my dearly departed cousin, Sonny Davenport. It was his idea to create a song that every person could relate to in terms of trying to make those ends meet, trying to make finances and make the bills, get the bills paid, keep up with everything for the average person, which, for all of us from time to time, it becomes difficult. So when we wrote Barely Breaking Even, we wanted it to be anthemic and something that people could relate to, right, in terms of it being a part of their lives, because it certainly was a part of our lives at that time. We cut it as a single in a single day, from start to finish. We began with nothing, just a song in our heads and the arrangement. And by the end of a very long day, I think it was 12 plus hours, we had our song.
My name is Louie Vega, one half of Masters at Work in New Eureka Soul. The first time I heard the original track, I don't remember, that's funny. 1989, actually. I was there when Sunrise and Energy, I was there at High on Hope. So I think being there in those days, I may have heard the record out in London. Last year, I was hanging out with Pete. We were maybe one of the festivals I was playing at, or somewhere where I was playing in London, and he said, "Louie, I have this dream I want to fulfill." He says, "I always wanted to do the song Barely Breaking Even by Universal Robot Band, Leroy Burgess and all, and I feel the one that can produce the version that I would love will be you." I was like, wow, it's a beautiful thing. I'm really, flattered that you even feel that I could do something like this. I said, well, if I do this project, it's going to be a big project. First of all, I wanted to think about it, and then I came back and said that, after I heard the tune, I said, man, I could hear, live strings, live horns. I would love to bring in Patrick Adams, because he has such a history with Leroy, together. I believe he found Leroy as a teenager, and when they formed the group Black Ivory and all that. So there's a long history they have.
Leroy and I are like brothers. We basically come from the same place musically on, say, 80 to 90% of the music we love. And we both have our strengths and we both have our weaknesses. But together we always come through with fantastic stuff. And even with the current things we've been doing with Louie Vega, when Louie Vega and I first did a string date 2 years ago, I purposely pulled Leroy in to work with me on the string arrangement.
When me and Patrick started working back together, starting in maybe about 2014, but actually it goes all the way back to 1999 when we did the first record with Glenn Underground. Off and on, Patrick has come back with projects that he's been kind enough to include me on, and recently, we've been doing a lot of work with my dear brother Louie. We released the New York Disco album, on which Rebel Nation is the thing that we did just about a year ago here in this very studio. It's a Patrick Adams song, an amazing song, Louie Vega production, and that's why, I'm so happy to be back and have that team back together. It's just something special about how we work together and the things we're able to create.
I had just finished working with them from my NYC Disco album when they came in, laid down strings on a song called Rebel Nation. That is Patrick Adams and Cloud 2 featuring Anane. And, we came into the string session, and it was kind of like a calling to me, because when we started working in the studio, it just felt so natural and wonderful that, as soon as I thought about doing the Barely Breaking Even song and the ideas that I had, I said I have to call Leroy and Patrick so that Patrick can arrange the strings, Leroy can conduct them, and, Leroy was already singing lead on the record, so I was already chatting with him and stuff and working things out.
What's great about working with Louie Vega, and especially in this situation, like I said, Leroy was fortunate that Louie did the remix, because Louie wasn't trying to change anything. He wasn't trying to say, well, this is now a Louie Vega record because I put my stamp on it. No, Louie was there to enhance what was already evident in the record. Louie allowed Leroy to be involved in restructuring the record, sort of under Louie's guidance, and I think it makes for a better record, as good as the original was. And then again, it's a different time now, so maybe the record needed a facelift,
It was the icing on the cake, man. It was wonderful because working with those two geniuses is for me, it's something that I never thought would ever happen when I was a lot younger and stuff. So now to do something like this, it really brings everything full cycle.
I know the minute that I heard that they wanted to do strings, horns, percussion, a dope rhythm, and great vocals, I was stoked because I love working with the orchestral pieces. I love what they bring to the project in terms of the way in which they lift it. And so I was happy to hear it. And certainly happy to collaborate with Patrick Adams on the arrangement and to conduct. Actually, Patrick Adams and I did the string arrangement together. Louie and I did the horn arrangement together. I did the vocals and some of the synths arrangement, and all of these factors came in to layer into this project, and it just, as a result, sounds amazing, I think. That's the feel. 167 counting our way in. And I don't know whether that's 166 for you. Yes. Where's my headphones?
So do you do the first measure, then you measure off?
Oh, okay.
Everybody in 5, 6, 7, and.
Or just 4?
But
Sorry.
first 3 and then 4.
Okay, got it.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so it's da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
It's on the beat.
Yeah.
Yes. It's da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's it. I'm telling them the horn notes.
It actually is easier for us if you just speak concert.
Okay. Y'all, let's see what happens with that.
That's gonna be funky.
A little tighter.
Yeah.
Double that.
Double that.
Patrick and Leroy, man, you know, those are my teachers. You know, they're the professors. You know, they are the ones that a lot of us, are the reason why we make our music. You know, Patrick's a big inspiration. All the records he's produced and written over the years, and Leroy, what he's written, produced, and sang over the years, you know, has been the soundtrack to a lot of my life. You know, so for me to be a kid roller skating to their records or going to clubs listening to their huge hits, you know, to in the future being able to be with them in the studio one-on-one and just talking to them, you know, it's a true pleasure.
I'm very, very proud of the message of the song and what it says, because it's as relevant today as it was in 1984 when we created it. Well, I would hope that it will make you happy. It will make you thoughtful. It will make you dance. It'll bring the joy out of your life, you know, and something that you deeply enjoy. I hope that people get and appreciate the message. As I said, it's still very relevant today. And I hope that they enjoy, you know, the new performances we've done, because basically I re-sang it. It's completely redone. And it's done with proper nod to the 80s and to the period in which it was created, while still being contemporary and today, and something that people can just they dance on and stuff. Okay.
Well, you know, working on this track together, for me, it really showed me how when people come together, people unite, and there's a lot of energy in the room. There's a lot of experience in the room, and that's what was there today at Log Cabin Studios. I mean, you know, we had, you know, the works of Patrick Adam. We had Leroy Burgess. We had Axel Tosca, who's one of my collaborator keyboard players, musician. We also had all the horn players, John Scarpula, who played tenor sax, Don Harris, who played trumpet, and Ozzy Melendez, who played trombone. Then we had the string players, the quartet. You know, I mean, you know, just to see Leroy working in that room, it was just really a learning experience, you know, because I'm even getting it from someone who I've admired for so many years, watching him do his thing. He's really a musical genius, you know. He really brings out a certain element that is his, and you know, he knows all the right textures and what to add, and you know, he's so melodic.
Oh, Lord.
When I heard about it, I was thrilled beyond words. I was like, and Sonny was still with us at the time, and I said, Sonny, you know, the song has, there's a record company that named itself after the song, out of London. And Sonny was thrilled to hear that. James was thrilled to hear that. I was over the moon, because it meant that some of what we put that record out for was actually occurring, and it was being received in that way. So it was cool as anything.
Oh, well, listen, I'm truly honored to be able to work on the 500th release on BBE Records, and I want to thank Pete for believing in me and trusting me to do something like this. And this goes out to all the fans, man. I mean, you know, BBE has a huge fan base, and you're talking about over 20 years of fans. So there are different generations that have been a part of the BBE saga and continue to be. So I want to say to them, barely breaking even, Universal Robot Band, Louie Vega, Leroy Burgess, Patrick Adams. This creation is for you. Enjoy.
Anyway.